if I was to go back, God damn. Now if I was to go back, God damn. Now if I was to go. Now if I was to go back, God damn. Now if I was to go back, God damn. No, ain't nobody care for me. Flights. Trust me, dog, nobody wasn't there for me. See, I ain't had nowhere to be. If I was to go back, God damn. Everybody chose to have a different grind. All this shit I got, you didn't spend a dime. This is why you're not up in my mind. If I was to oh my shit, you should know that it's the pilot, man, yeah. Detaching from everything, nigga, I even detaching myself. That's one of the reasons why I don't be sitting around asking for help. Shit, it get tight when you try to fit in like you strapping a belt, you know. I'ma express what I'm feeling, so fuck what you actually felt. Memories just like an album that I put back on the shelf. When I'm sitting chilling, just relaxing myself. Now if I was to go back, yeah.
This how you actually make songs. Songs is events, full course meals. Y'all said they're like events. They're supposed to be a whole, not something we forgot the next week.
Now if I was to go back, yeah. Now if I was to go. Now if I was to go back, God damn. Now if I was a damn. Trust me, you don't really know the hate I feel. Plus you ain't gon' volunteer to pay my bills. I'm only gonna say what's real. If I was to go back, God damn. Bet you didn't do this shit you claim you did, man. You was being selfish by the way you live. Now you wonder why you ain't my friend. If I was to call you every day, include you in my business shares percent. When I check social media pages, nigga, you ain't never share my shit. Look, I ain't mad if you ain't chose to, but don't be acting like I owe you. Gotta watch out for those niggas who try to attack themselves cause they know you. Yeah, on your ass. They try to use the past for a pass. Oh yeah, no looking back. Or I might just laugh. If I was to go back, God damn.
Yeah. That's how you do that. In today's time, y'all lost. You might hear somebody lost in the hippie world. Y'all say you might hear another person lost in Contra Iraq world. Y'all say you might hear another person lost in paint my nail polish world. But at the same, it's a paint my nails world. You know what I'm saying? Let me tell you like this when it comes to growing up and being around your aunties or your mother or your grandmother's nail polish. As far as it went for young men, little Tonka cars and stuff like that, little racer cars and stuff like that, the Rolls Royces, all them cars and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? That's about as far as it went. You know what I'm saying? Once you get a collection of hot cars or something like that, you're liable to have a different color Hot Wheel every day. Cats don't know where you got that from or whatever. That's as far as it goes. Once you get on your nails and all this, your toes, and pause. You know what I'm saying? Got a lot of that hip hop today too, though. You know what I'm saying? And we got to know in today's time, you're the example, not what somebody made you do, not what you paid to do. You know what I'm saying? No, you're the representation of that. We have to understand that in today's time, we can't be putting the responsibility on a person something was done to. No, who was retarded that done that to you? That's the more of the energy we in today's time and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And you celebrities, y'all not on the sideline. Y'all need to understand, y'all right along with all of us and content creators and stuff like that. You don't get away with nothing. Not a Oprah, you know what I'm saying? Not a Michael Jordan, and nobody, not a Jay-Z, not nobody. You know what I'm saying? Not a Patrick Swayze, nobody. Not a Joseph Smith, nobody. You know what I'm saying? Not an Ibrahim Breeder, whatever dude name is over there in Africa, not even him. You know what I'm saying? Nobody. Everybody up under these energies, and everybody got to reevaluate their business model. That's gonna be the main thing when it comes into the full moon being in Cap. Business model. Business model will be transformed. You know what I'm saying? Business model. Business model. You know what I'm saying? Say good. No better. Good business model. Good business model. You know what I'm saying? Jordan who? You know what I'm saying? Jordan when? Jordan what? Jordan how? You know what I'm saying? Everybody got a what, when, and how. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can't jump from the foul line. Everybody ain't jumping from half court and stuff like that. Hey, in a mile you can if you ride a real spaceship, God show you the way and something like that. In somebody's mind, you the jump man, you the jump woman. In their mind, they start saying the hell with Jordan. That's when you know you got good gifts and talents from God. And that's good. You know what I'm saying? Good silhouette and stuff like that, good texture. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Don't toothbrush, don't be no poo butt. Don't be no poo putt. Go get you a toothbrush and stuff like that. But the logo don't come off, nothing. There's everything stitched and weird. Jordan who? Who? You know what I'm saying? Y'all be floating out. Invest your time in something. Look, get into these qualities. Look, don't only take my channel as I'm teaching or whatever. Also understand this. By me being so in depth in this, I'm also a living expression of it. What do I mean by that? This ain't got nothing to do with my real life or whatever the case may be. In the middle of me teaching, I'm also expressing the energies that I'm teaching or whatever the case may be. So when I'm breaking down scenarios, when I'm making allegories based upon even what I just said and things of that nature, these things are geared towards where Capricorn is going to get you to focus on, going to make you start to focus, to react and respond to, due to the fact of the moon going to be full there, however the case. So also take it as that. Let's say, oh, I thought we was talking about astrology and he talking about a day-to-day life circumstance or whatever. Always remember, it's an expression that involves that energy that is so often everybody be experiencing these day-to-day qualities, but don't know what to point to, don't know what it actually is, and then filter it through what they already know, the social norms or whatever the case may be. This is why no actual issues is being solved when it comes into our mentalities and how we interact with each other and things of that nature, or even when you're dealing with yourself and having to build up that internal motivation for you to be able to, you know, strive and thrive every day or whatever the case may be, even if it ain't got nothing to do with material gain. Striving and thriving, this means you're able to feel good about your circumstance and situation, even if everything around it seems like it's negative or I don't want to say impossible, but negative or detriment or debilitated in some way, shape, or form. So you want to make sure that you always find a percentage scale of how things is still in a position for you where it could be worse, and it's not. So for the most part, when you give that credence, when you give that grace, it also give you a lot of other abilities in other areas that you ain't even paying attention to and don't know how to put these links together due to the fact of not having your spiritual homie or homegirl around you, and you know, may not lack of Wi-Fi or being online or however the case may be to be able to watch me. But for the most part, we know how to put these things together on this channel, and we find God on this channel. So for the most part, when you know you in a certain situation and you play out certain qualities in this area, it pour over in other areas that you may not even be able to see the link. But if you know how to put those two things together, you're able to add more on it, add more emphasis on it, add more energy to it, put more potency on it, or whatever the case may be. Now you actually know what you're doing before the things get constructed and become the physical. Now you kind of know your way into your circumstance, your situation, and that also by default place you in a situation to not allow you to become overwhelmed by circumstances. And then this puts you into that godly test, because you know God don't give none of its children or the universe or experiences that you can't handle. You know what I'm saying? So for the most part, when you get into that school of how much you can handle, and it ain't what we dealing with, it's how we deal with it, you're able to react to it in a much more sufficient manner than the average individual who let that shark become too big in their life as a problem that was once small and became big. Right? Then for the most part, this is God testing you based upon being able to expand some scenario or situation based upon how we evolve, based on resistance. So a spirit going to a new space that other spirits haven't went in, develop that new awareness substance that condense as thoughts, feelings, emotions, then that condense as adrenaline and blood flow. Then they get to do something unique with that organ that other individuals who share similar organs didn't reach that spiritual space to develop that idea and emotional reaction and adrenaline and physical attribute, or however the case may be. You know what I'm saying? And then for the most part, this is how we evolve, because the next group of children and lineage and everybody that act upon that same energy or whatever become a new form of an organ or a new form of how we got all these ligaments and things of that nature. So this what keeps y'all in an understanding of what we're here to do. And if you're on a mission for God, what that actually mean. So when you're enduring situations that may appear to be in this bias negative and this bias positive and cater to your natures, you know how to not allow that to be the ruling decision-making quality to your direction. And therefore you're going in the purest equilibrium center path direction, while understanding by you being an individual by default that is a bias. So now you're a bias. Your bias is not something that's dictating your direction in life, spiritually, mentally, and physically. Mentally is the collection of your thoughts, feelings that condense and become emotions. Thoughts, men, feelings, women, they have sex, have children, emotions, and then you have angry little ideas, little boys, and angry little girls and stuff, little emotions. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times you have to be careful, you know what I'm saying, because you get controlled by these things. And as a spirit, you was here longer than a lot of those spirits inside those forms that become aware from inside of the form you created. You know what I'm saying? And then a lot of times you ain't being a good god or goddess. You ain't being a good spirit. So you get controlled by your creations, and you ain't the creator no more. You know, they control and creating all your situations for you, your circumstances for you, and now you got the nerve to victim blame. You got the nerve to saying somebody else's problem or someone else's reason why you in the circumstance that you in. And that's when you know you failing to take spiritual, mental, and physical accountability for your circumstance and situation. And if you don't understand those qualities, Capricorn is going to kick you up the goddamn butt, and you're going to be up the street with 3 shoes, 2 on your feet, 1 on your, you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, Grant, oh, don't be a menace while I drink your juice. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Just in this case, it might not be a shoe, might be a goat horn. You know what I'm saying? Just might be a. Oh, like, you know, deers like to go on the edge and stuff like that. So when we dealing with energies and things in nature that was born around that time to start their little generations, you got that water cycle also. So let's say you a sun sign Capricorn or whatever the case may be. You like being on the edge. So for the most part, you might be scared of heights, but it's an internal energy that heights and the reaction and response from it, where that come from. And when we know the sun is in that position based upon your geographical location, when you experience in wintertime or whatever the case may be, it's more distant. So the qualities it create of awareness is a person is more aware of distance and needing shelter in replace of that distance. And that distance, it could be point B and you're the point A. So the point B could be a form of relationship with family, friends, and associates and coworkers, your responsibilities or whatever. And these are things that a person is always trying to get close to or always come up with an excuse that they have to separate from due to the fact of always being split between is things business or personal. And business a lot of times doesn't necessarily mean you're within a corporation. Your business that can lead off as, if it's unproductive and negative, people all in your business in the form of it being gossip or however the case may be. So people don't like to be looked down upon if they have a lot of Capricorn energy. And if you a sun sign in Capricorn, these is one of the things like your worst nightmare, having people in a position that they can look down on you, especially if they're close to you, because your opposite is Cancer. So things that make you feel comfortable or that familiar energy, nostalgia energy, or that nurturing quality and things of that nature. Capricorns naturally feel distant from these things. So they're either in a mission in their life to chase these things by practical solutions. Maybe I need to get a job to get that. Maybe I got to get what other people like in a practical way because it makes sense in order to get that internal energy nobody know I'm actually going through because I'm a Capricorn, especially Capricorn moons too. You end up manifesting or attracting situations in your life where you always have parent problems or you had to be the parent. So due to the fact of early in your life growing up with parent problems and stuff like that, was the universe shaping you to hopefully it's two roads and routes you could go down. The animosity one and victim blame, or everything I didn't have, I am that energy. So God really wants you to take that path, or if universe, whatever y'all want to call it. But a lot of times people will be like, oh, I didn't have that. So everybody who do have that, now you got some animosity or resentment qualities to you that's kind of negative. And sometimes you will manipulate someone else to be in that situation that you're close to. If you understand, oh, I had parent problems, it really, these situations, if you would have got out of that negative side of the bias, you would have been on the positive side of the bias, right? Learn a lot of qualities that other people who's not in that position may lack. So now when you're around your age group, even when y'all all drunk, you still somehow become the designated driver. Even when everybody retarded, you somehow got the most common sense within the situation. You end up being the young woman or young man that's parenting the whole your whole peer group, your whole race. When I say race, I'm not talking about ethnic group. I'm talking about when you run your race, your age group, and what y'all all into at the moment, due to the fact of that space in the sky, the pocket that we're now calling Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto. But just that space when the sun is there and that extreme distant, right? And the slow process of something was there based upon a fixated position when the sun passed, it gives everybody an aspect of that whole time frame and that group of years that if the sun was allegorically speaking there, everybody in that age group will have that same energy. So all of y'all, based upon how networks and things play out, because billionaires are into astrology and astronomy, due to the fact of understanding these qualities, there's going to be people who are in charge of mass media and things of that nature, being able to filter certain things through, okay, this may be the certain things that's filtered through education, this group of years, 7 to 10 years. This may be the filtered through entertainment, 10 to 15 years. So all the people up under the system, or just citizens, or whatever the case may be, because I don't want to use this in a derogatory term, I'm just teaching, right? All citizens and things of that nature will, based upon your peer, your race, your age group, all y'all will have not the what all y'all was experiencing, but the how y'all was experiencing it. So all y'all was dealing with your own way of experiencing maybe cartoons 7 to 10 years. Your peer, your race, your age group was experiencing it, that maybe your peers, your older peers or older brothers and sisters and siblings and things of that nature, or cousins, may have had their own or whatever. So you may have grew up on Super Mario Brothers, you know what I'm saying? Then your younger siblings maybe grew up on Crash Bandicoot. You know what I'm saying? Then after that, Crash Bandicoot and Ratchet and Clank or whatever. That's my little era right there. Crash Bandicoot and Ratchet and Clank. Ratchet and Clank and all that type of stuff. Resident Evil. Oh, that's one of my Resident Evil 2, my favorite game of all time. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff. One of them. Not go too far. One of them. Play that in the dark all day. PlayStation version, not these other new versions. But that's my little era, you know what I'm saying, and a little bit of 64 GoldenEye, WC no WWF, there's WWE now, but WWF No Mercy, you know what I'm saying, that WCW Nitro, all that's my time. 4 players, you know what I'm saying, was going happy to go outside and wrestle on the mattress and flip, you know what I'm saying, all kind of stuff. Thank you, Jeff Hardy, you know what I'm saying, thank you, Shawn Michaels and stuff. Good old days. You know what I'm saying? Good old days. But then I said that, but that's the difference. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, when we start to talk about what we are experiencing, and as a team, as a group of individuals, your time span have a different little pocket and things of that nature. Like I still remember like Rugrats, that was my stuff. You know what I'm saying? Right, the Tom and Jerry, one of my best cartoons of all time, Rugrats. You know what I'm saying? One of the best cartoons of all time. You know what I'm saying? Now these ain't some of the best, but just the right out time, Rocco Modern's World. You know what I'm saying? With the rocket power, the dude. You know what I'm saying? It was a whole bunch of stuff going to Space Ghost and Zorak from coast to coast. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of, you know what I'm saying? Now a lot of people know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? It's a different time. Dragon Ball Z. You know what I'm saying? It's a different time. So they start going a little messed up, Dragon Ball G. But you know what I'm saying? All of this when it comes into reevaluating. We at that time right now, especially with the full moon in Capricorn. All businesses, business, entertainment, education, religion, and politics, and your business, even if you unproductive and it's left in some type of gossip in some type of way. If you ain't truthful or you ain't a person taking care of your responsibilities, something gonna hit the fan, and now you got your status and what you're known for is going to be challenged in some way, shape, or form. So all kind of things when it comes to your money, your responsibilities, how you take care of your tasks, your duties, court cases, and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Try to stay out the way or whatever, because even government right now, so even police force gonna be all over the place during the full moon in Capricorn, all kind of things of that nature. And you know, everybody got their job, so they out trying to, that's the time that they make money too. You know what I'm saying? So it's just going to be a time where infrastructure, enterprise, corporation, business, these things is going to be the main focus or whatever the case may be. So one thing you need to be paying attention to is your business, what you got going on. Even if it ain't nothing and you like doubt yourself because it ain't things that Michael Jordan and Walt Disney taught us. So you might be in a situation where you just think, well, I ain't got no business going on or whatever. You know, somebody gonna gossip about your procrastination energy. Somebody gonna gossip about your laziness, or you just want to talk about stuff or whatever the case. All forms of business, you know what I'm saying? Get that together or whatever, so you could be sophisticated. So when you go out and about these things, even if it's a negative scenario that may take place, you have things grounded, you have things taken care of or whatever the case. Or then another person who all over the place, so they got to do double, triple the effort and energy work to get something done, and you know, things put themselves 10 steps behind just trying to take one step or whatever the case may be, where all that could have been prevented if they wasn't sweeping things up under the rug when it comes into their responsibilities. See, things trick us a lot of times when the moon be taking transits. See, when the moon going to them earth signs, right, it be leading up from fire signs. So you be more lost into how you see and feel about something, and it be a lot of things that before the fire signs, water signs had you emotionally reactive. So there was things that sextile between water and earth, you were supposed to emotionally take care of something just because it wasn't surface level and already an instant, and you have to do it at that moment, right? You were supposed to emotionally deal with that and get out of all the other emotions that slow you, take you off the distraction from that, but also the time for it is for you to be in your emotions, aka when the moon be in water. But then once it slide into that fire and things of that nature, right, you just get lost if you're distracted and unproductive of trying to see and feel about the emotions without emotionalizing what was important. Then once the moon slide into that earth sign, it'd be something practical that you slid aside from an emotional attachment, caring more about the emotional attachments, about the friendship, the relationship, the family ship, or whatever, how things going on and how someone thinking or whatever the case may be. Then you get tricked up, and now all those energies got to be focused towards practical issues, and then that's when you get confused because you got 2, 3, 4 things on your mind, having to take care of something in reality, responsibility, while having to deal with, but I ain't take care of my pride being hurt, my ego being hurt, or this person think they did this, or this family member did that, or damn, I got to do this type. You know what I'm saying? It'd be like that's already an example of you're a few steps behind when you was getting ready to try to take a step forward, and there was certain steps you should have took that you didn't at the time. You know what I'm saying? So this is just predicated. It doesn't necessarily mean astrology is the end all and be all. It just gives you a head up on what you need to look at in your life that you developed out your biases, so you can start predicating the right decisions and stuff like that. So when sticky situations do derive, if you stay ready, don't. You ain't got to get ready. Well, I'm gonna put her in that. DJ Quick on the engineer. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put her in that. But yeah, that's what Capricorn gonna teach. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of reckless individuals. You got a lot of water, a lot of fire in your chart. Pay attention. You know what I'm saying? Get around some air signs that may be a little reckless like you, but still these are things that they put a little bit more effort in than so-called the fire and the water sign. That the earth sign may be already in a situation where if you got one of these individuals in your life, you can look at what they're doing that's simple to them, so it's already their natural nature or whatever the case, because there's qualities you have that when it's your time, that these things get expressed and the stars align or whatever the case may be, you start to see that you got qualities that other people pay attention to, and it takes a situation to play out that anchored from that situation for you to realize, oh, that's what made me win, or that's why this person hating, or that's why I felt like this, or whatever the case may be. But a lot of times when you already in your natural qualities, your gifts be playing out naturally, so you don't be paying attention to what you think everybody else be paying attention to. And for the most part, it be other things that we all be lost in based upon social norms of what Michael Jordan and Walt Disney taught us, that, you know, by every so often we get blind through those biases and stuff like that, that we do think that it be other things and stuff like that. And here's the thing, this is how a lot of times red pill feminists put themselves in sticky situations or compromising and vulnerable situations to get taken advantage of, to prove themselves that they was already right or whatever, because they think that this person is around for and like them for this, and they start putting all that effort into this, whether they're lit or getting money or whatever the case may be, and person end up still cheating on them, and then it just revalidate what they already thought. Now they're more an extreme 10 times plus Vegeta Super Saiyan feminist or goddamn red pill or whatever, but really that wasn't the case at all. You're just lost in a bias of what Michael Jordan's social norms and Walt Disney may have taught us, or Joseph Smith. You know what I'm saying? So when you get into those qualities, you thought they liked you for the rims, so you went hard on getting 10 cars with rims. Homegirl still cheated on you or whatever the case may be. You somewhere online screaming all females ain't shit. No, maybe you and the qualities you have wasn't shit. So whatever you thought you had to overcompensate, you thought that was enough, and you thought that's what was actually it. And then that's when you have to realize sometimes social norms may not have the gratification that you're searching for. You know what I'm saying? For these ego bruisings and traumas that we have and things of that nature as humanity. I ain't human. But for the most part, you know, a lot of times we just be searching for these things, and we work extra hard and put a lot of effort into a lot of things that social norms. And here's the thing, it's not even the social norms of Walt Disney and Michael Jordan fought at this point, right? These are things that we quote unquote think we should have for alternative things. You thought you should have those rims because alternatively you just wanted some pussy. You thought you were supposed to have that. I'm a PhD. I'm on my own business, or whatever the case may be. You thought you wanted that, and vice versa. Internally, alternatively, you really just wanted a man, bitch. You know what I'm saying? However the case may be, you wanted a man wife. You know, that's really what it is. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times you can hear females in today's time start talking about, I just want a guy to chill in the crib and wash the dishes and cook or whatever the case may be, and I'm going to hold us down or whatever. Ain't nothing wrong with that if you got a lot of snacks or whatever the case may be, but don't ever forget the person is a man. You know what I'm saying? Don't forget that too. Like society and social norms, and then that's when it get a little too far and stuff like that. But then at some point, when you're an intelligent person like me, you can't blame Michael Jordan. You can't blame Walt Disney. You can't blame Joseph Smith. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times Michael Jordan was just selling a shoe to get some money. You know what I'm saying? At the time, Joseph Smith was just bringing people to his church, his Mormon church. You know what I'm saying? At the time, Walt Disney just made hella cartoons and stuff like that we all got hooked to, and Mickey Mouse and stuff, Mickey Mouse on Ice, all kind of stuff and stuff like that, making millions, trillions to this day. So for the most part, don't hate the player, hate the game type qualities when they get into your mental illness and you using that as an excuse and still ain't getting no ass. You know what I'm saying? You using that as an excuse, still get cheated on. You know what I'm saying? You use that as an excuse. You know what I'm saying? Just enjoy Mickey Mouse. That don't mean you got to be somewhere with Mickey Mouse shining rims on the big faces on the 22s or whatever the case, inside of your Cadillac, riding down goddamn Compton Boulevard, or however the case it may be. However the case it may be, you know what I'm saying? Just understand it ain't got nothing to do with everything. Don't go too hard for that. Get some spirit. Get some space. Get some expansion about yourself. And Capricorn will teach everybody that, because it got that distant quality. And anytime we dealing with the full moon in Capricorn, we know that the sun is in Cancer. So it's going to be filtered through emotions. So that distance is going to be filtered through an emotional state. So you may feel distant from emotions that you usually soak in, negative or positive, due to the fact that the universe or goddamn moon and Capricorn will force you to be like, yeah, all that work, you create the emotions here, you got to use that work to over here. Use your emotions for over here. Your money, your court date, your responsibility, your child support. Yeah, all them funky emotions ain't practical. They use your emotions for this right here. Practicality. You know what I'm saying? Not your animality. Practicality. Reality. You know what I'm saying? Reality. Real style. You let this go. You let this go too far up under the rug. What happened to your emotions, motivations to hide that skeleton finger from hanging out the closet every time you got friends or family around and stuff, and they can see your bullshit. They can see what you try to hide. You can't even hide it if you try. You ain't to put the skeleton wrist and the goddamn arthritis in the kneecap like clearly in the closet. You know what I'm saying? You just all sloppy around, dirty, and thinking people ain't gonna pay attention to stuff because y'all playing video games. You know what I'm saying? In the mind. That's where you get lost a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? You get lost, and then you thought people was around from that, and people see your whole game. They seen your whole manipulation trick. They seen everything you're trying to hide or whatever the case, and you ain't gonna be no family member gonna call next week and be like, yeah, I know you got paid. Don't lie no more. I want my money. Oh, I'm saying don't lie no more. I want my money. I'm saying real stuff. Can't lie no more. Oh, yeah. The manager trying to switch us up. Yeah, I just got this job. We 2 weeks in the hole. Oh, that lying. You know what I'm saying? That lying. Oh, that plan. Oh, y'all crazy. Y'all Capricorn ain't gonna let you get away with nothing. I'm gonna tell you that right now. But if we're gonna all feel distant from something that's transmuted through the form of home, family, emotional security, fourth house, privacy, you may feel separate or disconnected from your common state of privacy. So how you usually get in your comfort zone or your privacy, you're going to be separated from that in some way, shape, or form. You know what I'm saying? It's just the way things be playing out, you know? So try not to be out and about, so it'll be just unnecessary stuff that you actually got to do or whatever the case may be. But you're going to be put out your comfort zone. Pardon me, challenged. Your status going to be challenged to a certain degree. You know what I'm saying? Or if something is unstable about your status, Capricorn is going to force you to have to deal with it, take care of these things. You know what I'm saying? Things, especially y'all, when it comes to license or late bills or whatever the case may be. Yeah, come hardcore to take you through a hardship, but it prepare you so you don't go through those situations again. But if you're a person that go through an obstacle that Capricorn put you in, being ruled by Saturn or the sun being in that pocket, right? Then for the most part, if you don't accomplish these things, then you're going to be in a more unstable situation once these things come back around. Then which you could have dealt with, but it wasn't so hard previously, become twice as hard the next time. And you can't just sweep it up under the rug like you swept it up under the rug. It's too much spoiled milk now. It's going to stink. It's just two skeletons now. Now you got to really stuff it in the closet for people don't see it. One, you probably got away with it. They seen a little finger, probably like was hidden up under a pair of jeans or something, things of that nature, or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? Something you wear your esoteric pants on, your cover up qualities, cover up your lying to yourself energies. That's what that means when you're wearing pants in the esoteric world. Because it's a whole detailistic how we dress ourselves. It's mental forms though. Mental cover your nakedness, your spirit. You know what I'm saying? Your soul. And a lot of nakedness a lot of times puts us in vulnerable situations. So a know-how, an idea, a credibility, an awareness, a talent, an expression. These are things that we kind of utilize and transmute, but they're actually spiritual clothes. They're clothes for your soul. You know what I'm saying? Your spirit is just your individual solo space, your soul. And then for the most part, you put on shirts, you put on pants, you put on coats, you know what I'm saying? All kind of stuff. Knee pads. You put on all kind of protection gears. You know what I'm saying? Then you build households and shelters around yourself. Then you have a security system with a code. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people who don't got that security system with a code because they still buying cheap clothes and stuff like that. These are insecure individuals. Their inner security system is open and exposed. So they're very sensitive. So every time you're around them, they got insecure qualities. They always expect someone is paying attention to something they over exaggerate about that's negative about themselves and stuff. So and they don't know how to close it up and create other clothing, not even in a positive way, even if it is something that could present to be vulnerable. You can move to a different space in the spiritual world, build a different house. So the shelter in your house and how you pay your rent, paying attention, esoteric currency, right? To get qualities of attention or energies to put out to create comfortability with yourself. So you're not always negative or whatever the case may be. You're in a different spiritual space. So that different rent, different bills, different shelter, it's not even the same. So the things you're protecting yourself from ain't even the same. When it rain in that area, and you could be outside or be locked out or something like that, ain't the same. It ain't raining like that in your area, so you're not protecting yourself from the same things. So as it transmute in the physical world, you could be around the same people, places, and things, but different reaction and response to what one person may be still spiritually in that location. So they create shelters and clothes for themselves to protect themselves for those weathers and storms. So they still reacting and responding, trying to protect themselves and hide what they think is vulnerable in that location. You no longer think in the physical world that similar vulnerability that you may have is a vulnerability, and you're able to transmute that internal emotional intelligence into masculine, aka a healthy ego. So now your negatives get transmuted into positives. Now you're on the path of being able to have a testimony. So now you feel good to express the negatives, because now it could be a piggyback on while you're in a positive situation. Here's the trick to life. That's really only have something to do with a bias. All your negative things you went through had nothing to do with you being in a positive situation. And a lot of times, if it got something to do with the industry, it ain't what you know how to do. It's what you it's who you know. It ain't your talent, it's who you know. So it's just spirits like to find safe havens. That's another cloth you could pull for protection, because the cloth of success in any particular situation can kind of outweigh the percentage scale of the nakedness and the negativity situations you went through and the vulnerable situations you went through. So you could kind of feel better about yourself when you get that cloth and lie to yourself in a positive way, though. These are good lies, because you ain't lying to someone else. You're lying to yourself to feel better. So God allowed those ones. So you allow the success percentage scale and slide in the negative situations you went through, and that light get blurred out by the light of the success. So now you can use negative stepping stones you went through as part of the excuse of why you reached a success. So now it's not responded to the same as someone who don't have success but have those similar vulnerabilities. They're still in a situation of having a unhealthy ego and a damaged emotional intelligence. So when it comes to the divine feminine, that's your emotional intelligence. When it comes to the divine masculine, that's your ego. So for the most part, when they still in an emotional state and attracting those external negative situations, their ego is damaged. They have to create egos elsewhere, claws from elsewhere that don't solve the actual issue, but it cover up the actual issue so people don't see the internal damage. But a spirit has to uphold that so long, because they have to go and get jobs from places they don't even esoterically live at. They got to go to where other spirits live at that don't even have those problems, and then buy clothes and get jobs from there. Go in other places, get jobs from there. Bring it all the way back to their damaged place to make their place an esoteric house look better than everybody else on that block. Then that transmute in the third dimension as red pill, feminist, the breadwinner, that's the family member, but the breadwinner quality is what makes you damaged. You use that as a form of feeling like you're someone in some way, shape, or form, where you act like you hate when family members borrow money, but then you always the first to lend money. So we know it ain't about the money. It's dealing with the ego. You just like talking about people needing you, or whatever the case may be. It's a lot of different things how this can play out in a lot of different scenarios when a person is in that space, but they got to uphold something. No one knows how much damage and trauma they develop when they be by themselves, and small increments come out on the first immediate family, the first immediate friends, and stuff like that. They know better not to go too extreme, but they do it in small increments to the point that people get the hint. You know what I'm saying? And based on the family members, friends, and associates' intelligence is how far they allow it to, because every spirit be trying to test how far they could go. They allow how much expression on a percentage scale they're going to let the spirit know, hey, I know what's actually going on. That esoteric house, the gold you didn't bought, the good carpets, the good clothing you didn't got, we know that's covering up something, and we can see actually through the house and the curtains or whatever. You depressed about something. Don't take that on me, because I'm closest to you and I won't do you bad like a stranger will. Don't do that, or your manager will. You see what I'm saying? And sometimes you got to be the smart family member to know how to come, or friend or associate to come to that person like that, though, or y'all gonna come to tit for tat through the filtering system of the social norm, and then displace the situation in a hasty circumstance. Because now that end up not being the best relationship, family wise, relationship partner wise, business wise, corporation wise, and they ain't even have to get there. It's just too many unstable spirits dealing with each other. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not just you, it's everybody around you also. So don't just think because you're dealing with something, everybody else not dealing with something. People are just real good at going to get esoteric cloths and stuff like that that you need to get good at, but it ain't what you do, it's how you do it. And you could be doing it on the right side of the universe or be doing it on the side of the universe that's more catered to just you and your own bias. And that's going to be hard to uphold. You know what I'm saying? Ask a feminist and a red pill. I just keep using that as an example. It's hard to uphold rims and all these other things you thought this person was around for. And after a while, you start to realize circumstances is playing out that's showing you that might not be the case. Then you start playing tit for tat with yourself because you ain't spiritual. Tit for tat with yourself is you start lessening the percentage scale of expressing those things. You start acting like, well, maybe I don't want to drive that car. Let me see if she still want to ride. Well, maybe I don't want to work those many hours and stuff. Let me see if she's, you know what I'm saying? Or if the feminist, y'all got those qualities, how y'all know y'all do or whatever the case may be. And then when you start to see a person getting more distant, when you start to act like that, that's all the actions you need to see before you make it apparent of the petty energy that you was actually in the first place. And you was just manipulating the situation to show to show one thing to get the action, to get the reaction and response you're looking for in an indirect way. So a person don't actually know your problem, but you express something that the response can actually give you the answer to your problem in so many words or whatever. And we all be doing that to each other. Y'all know some spirits better at that than others or whatever. Don't ever get beside yourself that you think you ain't doing that though. Because when you don't, when you get beside yourself and think you're not doing that, and you ain't got no spiritual homie, no medicine man, pilot man, woman to teach you, or they ain't went through that themselves or whatever the case may be, you reach those extreme mistakes. You reach those extreme, damn, my bad. You reach those extreme times you got to apologize to that person that you wish that wasn't the person you would have had to apologize to or whatever the case may be. Because you thought you was getting over, and it's not that the person caught on a lot of times. It's just the way the universe play out. You're going too much in the opposite direction of the flow. Learn percentage scale. If you could see things beyond humans and animals that has a order to it or whatever the case may be, you need to know that you're a secondhand version of that. So when you do something against that, your situation is going to play out that way. Now, based upon individuals not being spiritual within this context and not even knowing this is a form of spirituality, you're not sensitive to what's going on. For an example, right? This is what you won't call spirituality, but this is more spirituality than what y'all be filtering through y'all religion and stuff when y'all go out in nature. If you know beyond a human and animals and species and bugs, the water is flowing in a certain direction, right? Then for the most part, you know that a direction or in the water itself goes beyond you trying to follow a bug or you trying to follow whatever the case may be, right? So I'm just helping you try to understand something. So for the most part, when you know something is going in a certain direction that you're on, and you know that's what you participating with, the moment you don't connect it to, oh, there's things in the world that go in a direction that I ain't got nothing to do with. I can see water flows going in a direction or whatever the case may be or whatever. Then for the most part, if you don't know how to connect those things, right, then for the most part, you'll still be saying something, but you'll still be saying, damn, I was going down the wrong path. Yet it'll be clogged up with what that path consists of. Oh yeah, because I was trying to make some money. Oh yeah, because I had this friend. Oh yeah, because I had that. But yet, if you were sensitive to the life and things of that nature, the biases would have came second nature. You know what I'm saying? You would have just been into broader things of life. Now here's the thing. The average simple-minded individual won't be able to connect what this have to do with the water flowing in a certain direction, and we're using the same terminology when we're in a circumstance, right? It's just called being aware. So when you're given percentage scale of awareness, right, it play out in other areas of your life. So if you're a person that's less distracted than the average individual, it ain't the what, it's the how. So the what is, we're using the same words, direction and path. The how is one person, how they're perceiving it is, damn, I know the wind be going in a certain direction, water be going in a certain direction, and it's a strong current. So if I'm being pulled, so one person seeing it from that perspective, one person is seeing it, oh, I'm just going down this path, this is going to lead me to this, that, and third, not relating it to that, right? Now here's the thing, it ain't no connection in any fashion of it. That's the water. That's the direction of your path that you're going through as far as your situation or your circumstance. But the awareness, the how, matters more. A person won't be knowing that the same kind of energy a person who is observing water. They know all water going in a basin, all water could collapse, all water could crush in, or whatever the case. So when too much stuff going in a certain direction or whatever, some have to split apart. So I know if I'm too strongly connected with something, some could be split apart because I'm too heavily invested into it, or whatever the case may be. Or if I know if I'm going down a certain path and I know I feel a certain way, I know I need to exit this path because what flows themselves. A person that start developing knowledge in a situation that ain't even got nothing to do with the water when they're more sensitive out in nature and dealing with life. You see what I'm saying? So let this person be in the same what, because it ain't the how, it's the how, but let them be in the same what, a business situation as another person that ain't sensitive to life. Both gonna be using the same terminology. Yeah, we both go down this path together, or however the case, right? But one gonna have better decision-making qualities, know how to get out of a deal a lot faster than a person that's in the same business, and they probably business friends. They probably signed a contract or whatever and did something stupid, like, well, this was path, I thought it could work or whatever, and one person had a whole different awareness, not even having that when they probably at the park or something on their mind when they in the business. It's just something when you're involved in your experiences and what you add your percentage scale to, it play out in other areas of life. And that's spirituality. You know what I'm saying? Where you're separating from it's like you're getting more closer to your space. So you're getting outside of the external, the physical, then what condense and become the physical, your mind. And by you having to utilize these things, you're starting to realize by default, these already are biased. So these are biases themselves. You don't have to get lost in the particulars of what cater to you of the bias. You just need to know you're not going to have no choice but to see things through the bias. So your whole concept is just to conduct biases from your bias and the external bias, right? So that keep you intellectually, emotionally attached, but intellectually attached. See what I'm saying? Therefore, before anything condensed from a cloud to an emotion, you understand it. So you understand, oh, even if you got emotions, you understand it. When you got thoughts, you understand it. When you're in a situation, you understand it, right? You understand it before it becomes the thing or the substance or the emotion for us to react. So for the most part, just by you being sensitive to life, it play out in other areas. And then when you start to go through other situations, and then you could compare and contrast from yourself and others of why you had that idea and others didn't or whatever, then that's when you can start giving grace to Yehovah, giving grace to God. Thank you, God, or universe, or whatever you want to say, because this wasn't just your own. You were sensitive to things outside of you, just not filtered through your bias, and you think you always have to be only aware of what another person with a brain is telling you, or whatever the case may be. Yet you got the quality just like another person with another brain to be able to be sensitive to the things that develop and condense and become your brain. So each increment, the atmosphere, the light, the particles, things, all these are interactions that condense. You ain't made out of anything else. This is why you need water. We're always made out of we're made out of the things we need. The things you go out and need is the things you made out of. So you need to understand that you're just a different shape, form, and increment of it. So if you need water, you're made out of water. So you can't just look at it through the form of the physical digestion of water, right? You have to look at it through the mental too. If you're coming from mental substance, that's actually what water comes from. Atmosphere, cloud, the lighter reality of life. Once you get lighter, just different pockets of it, different shapes and forms of it. Your thought, everything is pocket families. You gotta look at it like a pocket family type of thing, right? When you're looking at things and a heavy dense, right? That's a rock is in a pocket family of a brick, of your bone. You know what I'm saying? But then when you get into things that's lighter, things you can't weigh, right? You can't weigh air. Thoughts you can't weigh. That's the same pocket family. So they're in different positions, different formation of it, but different but same atmospherical form, same atmospherical area. You know what I'm saying? So you just look at it like atmospherical areas or whatever. So different shapes and forms that share atmospherical areas. So different shapes and forms. You got bricks, rocks, bodies, and stuff like that that share the physical atmospherical form. Then you have the lighter form. They're not separate. The lighter form condense and become the heavier form. So for the most part, your thoughts is something you can't weigh. Air is something that breathes. Wind is something that breathes. Same pocket. You know what I'm saying? So when you get into your breath, or however the case, your breath is a collection of thoughts. This is what these things are. They're condensing. They're compressing. They have a cycle or whatever the case. So this is what these things is becoming to be. So when you think about each pocket family, you just have to look at, all right, in this pocket awareness, atmospherical pocket, you got things that can play out like this, things that can play out like that, things that can play out like that, things. So when you think about atmosphere, physical atmosphere, your mind, or whatever the case, you got different shapes and forms that can play out in the clouds. You got different visualizations. You got clouds that can condense and become water. You got different thoughts that condense and become your blood flow. You see what I'm saying? So it's the same pocket family. So you have to look at it like that. And when you start to understand, okay, this is how I'm building adrenaline, I have to be careful what I'm building adrenaline for, because it actually become a circumstance and a situation that other spirits that's in that same space come down, and we all create that same circumstance together or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So you could be a person that, let's say you're very frustrated about something, or you think something go wrong or whatever, like, and now you have to go out and about. You're going to be on that same time and frame, seconds and minutes, of all the other spirits in that spiritual space trying to make clothes and houses in that area. So once they come down into the physical and stuff like that, you end up all being in that circumstance. So let's say you're an angry person and you trying to lock somebody down. You might be a dude and you all over the place because you're trying to lock a female down or whatever the case may be. Now you're out and about at the time, other spirits, but it's the what, that energy you in, but the how. Everybody got their own situation, own jobs, but y'all all gonna be on the same timing and meeting up in the same situations. So you somewhere out and about trying to lock a chick down, you gonna end up in the same circumstance as a police that might, that's their job to lock somebody down. Now you in the same situation and getting pulled over now. Some ain't even got nothing to do with the what, but I mean the how, but it got everything to do with the what, the energy that you was in or whatever, trying to lock something down. Now you out and about of everybody trying to lock something down or whatever the case may be in their own how. One person trying to lock a job down, so you on a roll with them. They might be rushing or something like that. Police trying to lock people up. You on a roll with them at that time, whatever the case may be. If you get up and you in a certain spirit and you reevaluate what you're building thoughts and feelings and sheltering on, that become adrenaline. Your adrenaline become your actions, and also match the timing of those actions for you to go do these things. And for the most part, you end up around the same type of people in that circumstance. Or it would be no such thing as you be an alcoholic and you always end up at the store, and there's always going to be a lot of other people, a lot of get ready alcoholics to be there. You know what I'm saying? It never fail. Because you woke up in that space. Then you made that type of that cloth and awareness. Hey, I'm gonna go get a bottle of alcohol. Then it became adrenaline and blood flow, and it became the time you went there. And I guarantee you're gonna meet up with another spirit that was in that same spiritual space at the same time you was there. You probably behind them in line. I'm just trying to make it simple for y'all because y'all so lost into y'all biases. That's one of y'all biases. You can clearly make sense out of what I'm talking about from a spiritual nature that you would never be able to get away out of from the physical world when you just lost in your bias and you think you just going to get Colt 45, you know what I'm saying, or going to get a Cisco. White Irish rolls or something, you know what I'm saying, some old cheap beer and wine or something, you know what I'm saying, something just was made purposely to destroy your liver. And have you get ready to hopefully almost not wake up in the morning and stuff, not hopefully, but almost not wake up in the morning because you bleeding out the nose and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Your thyroid got arthritis and stuff. You got eczema on the right kidney and stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? All that stuff was made purposely. That. Real stuff. Go watch. Big Mad Dog. You know what I'm saying? An MD20. Oh, you got all that cheap stuff. All that cheap shit. Four Loco. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's gonna be the time here. So yeah, full moon in Capricorn. Be careful and stuff like that, man. If you could stay in your comfort zone, stay home or whatever the case may be, and you won't have to be in no hasty situation where you have to get placed in an uncomfortable situation, a vulnerable situation, a situation you may need your family, friends, or your close ones, or you may need some emotional support, right? Or it may be harder for you to obtain that privacy that you usually have and stuff due to the fact that whatever circumstance or situation derive via person, place, or thing, or circumstance or situation, pardon me. You know what I'm saying? So it could play like that during this time with the Capricorn. It's always going to bring some type of hardship, bring some type of trial or tribulation that you have to emotionally react or respond to and force yourself to find comfortability. You know what I'm saying? And then you're going to be like, dang, you ain't even going to know how many things you was doing normally to jump into your comfort zone until the full moon and Capricorn happened and stuff. You're going to be like, damn, I ain't know how good I had it. You know what I'm saying? Mentally and physically, spiritually, mentally, and physically. And mental is just your collection of your thoughts and feelings that condense and become emotions. So you ain't got to say mentally, emotionally, and physically. You know, spiritually, mentally, and physically. Or you know what I'm saying? You're going to be in that kind of situation and stuff. You're going to be like, dang, I didn't even know. Then you're going to appreciate the things that you ain't know you was really getting away with throughout the day that really was accesses of comfort zones and comfortability and stuff that you better be happy that you ain't have to do that on your normal basis that average individuals or other individuals be having to do that will frustrate you. So whatever the little things that's frustrating you or whatever the case may be, shut up. You know what I'm saying? It's God telling you, shut up. That ain't about nothing. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff. Nah, I had much worse. So I could have did it better. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. You know what I'm saying? God will start thinking about his stuff. So you got to peep game. That's when it comes into Scorpio. I mean, not Scorpio, Capricorn. And it's not going to be in Cancer. So, you know, there's going to be some emotional thing that you're going to have to run to. You may have to run to some nostalgia, run to some familiarity, maybe advice from other individuals that already emotionally went through something to that nature or whatever that Capricorn full moon going to take you through due to the fact of the sun being in Cancer. So that's what it's going to be filtered. That's going to be the filtering system. So you got to react or respond to your status, boss up, strap up your boots lates and get up or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And pack it up or whatever the case may be. Wipe off your makeup, whatever the case, and get ready for the job. Whatever that you need to get up and put those other petty emotions behind that you wasn't considering petty previously, and you thought it was more of everything in your life when it came to how you felt and that person you're in a relationship with, or that manager or that coworker or that family member or that that little tit for tat energy and stuff like that. And God don't care about that when the moon in Capricorn. God say we care about, look, use your emotions for this. You know what I'm saying? And if you can't find no comfortability, you missing something in life. You need to gain some comfortability in this area, and you ain't gonna be able to get out of this space until you got that emotional adrenaline and motivation to take care of your responsibilities in some way, shape, or form. And then therefore, once you learn that trait, you should be more prepared. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Shout out to Sugar Free, DJ Quick. You know what I'm saying? And that's all the moon and Capricorn trying to tell y'all with the full moon, and it's gonna have y'all fulfilled if you're fulfilled or not. Oh, I forgot I had a title. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that title tomorrow after do the little Patreons to prepare each zodiac sign themselves for the full moon about trust the process, not the person. The process is what y'all all doing. Once a person start to flip on the process, you need to already have created a situation. Just as fast you have jumped in that situation or that process with them, just as fast you ain't got to be their friend. Just as fast you ain't got to be their favorite family member, just co-worker, associate, or whatever the case may be, because they messed up the process. Trust the process, whatever everybody doing, not the people. If we all here to make this dope album or whatever the case may be, I trust the process, not the people, not the person. As soon as the engineers start acting fluky and flunky or whatever the case may be, just as fast as they thought I was nice, just as fast you get your ass cussed out real quick, and I need another engineer in this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Real quick, yeah, I trust the process, not people. No, I trust the process, not people. So if you're a person, a person's, part of this process we got going on, or whatever you, and we ain't even got to have nothing going on together. I trust the process, not people. Before you even come close to me thinking I'm going to trust you, I'm peeping your process and what you already got going on and what you do. And the moment I see you being fluky on your process or whatever like that, I don't trust you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, gotta, you know what I'm saying? Things ain't even got to go no further. Yeah, go no further. No contract. You know, don't got to go no further. You know what I'm saying? You can have $1 trillion and be in a position like, yo, Dolo, I'm giving you this contract, right? You a person. The process you in is giving people contracts. How many people you rock to sleep already? You know what I'm saying? How many? You know what I'm saying? That's going to get me to compare and contrast in a percentage scale. You know what I'm saying? How much it's going to happen to me. You know what I'm saying? So at the same time, I got to look at it or whatever the case may be. So all that come into play. All that come into play. The process you in, the hell with that. The process as you as a person, this process don't work. You know what I'm saying? So I don't trust the process you participating with. Get out your monkey ass my face. You know what I'm saying? I really don't go no further than that. You know what I'm saying? If you allow anything to go any further than that, this is why you use and abuse right now. This is why you got taken advantage of. This is why your family member got over on you. This is why your friend got over on you. This is why that manager got over you. That's why that coworker got over on you. That's why that business partner got over on you. You know what I'm saying? Right there. Because you trusted people, not the process. You know what I'm saying? You just got lost in all the people and their concepts without understanding, what am I even doing with this person? Oh, okay, I'm doing this. I got this job with this person. Oh, okay, I'm just kind of friend with this person. Okay, I'm this type of family. I'm this type of, you know what I'm saying? You didn't look at the process. We got words for these processes. You got lost in the person. Oh, hey, that person ain't gonna do me like that. Oh, yeah, that manager see me different. Oh, yeah, this contract ain't gonna end up the same way somebody else was on DJ Vlad or VH1. You know what I'm saying? All right. You trust people. You didn't trust the process. You know what I'm saying? But hey, it's power in the P. It is power in the P. Ask Gunner. Yes, ma'am. No, I said I'm like, fight for me, you know, for sure. You know, listen to the bottom of that Terry's move. I have the Royal Archangel, and I'm going to carry God duties and beep, responsibilities and obligations and duties and obstacles and all kind of that. Erectus or hell, hold that yellow hoop. Massasoit, Mama the toy. Hee hee, woo. Masasaki.